Hey, what's up guys? This is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be taking a very interesting deck. I'm going to be taking Dark Sanctuary, and this deck actually does not need an extra deck at all. This deck revolves around getting Dark Sanctuary, one of my fan favorite cards of all time, on the field and getting Destiny board out on your opponent and then just winning by an auto win condition. Now, I was trying to think about a deck that I could take while I was waiting on the stuff to come in the mail from Extreme Force, and I was like, man, what can I really take? And I looked and I found this and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to build it and I'm going to do this. So I pulled it out and I started playing with it and I did a couple of edits to it and it worked and it was a lot of fun. And so I kind of wanted to show it to you guys and see what you guys think. It's a lot of fun. It's no TK deck, and it's one of those decks that it's just good. It's just really good. So let's get straight on into it, and I'll show you what I'm playing. So before I get into this though, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check down in the description below for my Patreon account, and I will get down to those comments, guys. Tell me what you think of this. So let's first off get into the field spell. So first off, we're going to play 3 copies of Dark Sanctuary, and the effect of Dark Sanctuary is something that I really need to read to you guys. If a spirit message card would be placed on your field with Destiny board, you can special summon it as a normal monster, Fiend type, Dark, level 1, 0 attack and 0 defense instead. And if you do, it is unaffected by card effects except Destiny board. And it cannot be targeted for an attack, but it does not stop your opponent from attacking you directly. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, this is the cool effect, toss a coin. And if the result is heads, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack. So that's really good because it stops your opponent from thinking about attacking you directly just by having Dark Sanctuary on the field. It's a really neat card because it can give you a win condition with Destiny board, and then it's also it protects you and it puts them in the field so you can kind of like protect yourself. But if your opponent, if you don't have certain cards to prevent your opponent from MSTing your Destiny board, this can still win you the duel, because if they attack you and they lose out to Destiny board, you're going to win to coin tosses, because they can only attack you so many times before they lose all their life points. So let's get straight on into the rest of this. So I'm going to do this a little differently from my normal deck profiles. I'm going to show you the field spell and the Destiny board pieces, and then I'm going to move into the spells, traps, and then finally the monsters. So next off, we're playing 3 copies of Destiny board. Now, Destiny board is when this card and all 4 spirit messages with different names are placed on your field, you win the duel, period. And once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you place a spirit message on the field from your hand or deck in your spell or trap zone. But with Dark Sanctuary on the field, you place it in your monster zone. And you have to play them in the proper order of I, N, A, and L, which spells out final. In the OCG, it actually spells out death, which is cool. And when any spirit message or or Destiny board you control leaves the field, you have to send all of them to grave. So if your opponent allows you in 5 turns to get them all out, you win. But if you don't, you lose. So then we play a spirit message I, a spirit message N, a spirit message A, and a spirit message L, which you can't really see on the camera, but I'll pull them down so you can kind of see them. So that's the spirit message right there, is it spells out final. So you're going to play 3 copies of the spirit message and 3 copies of the Dark Sanctuary as well, so you can win the duel. So that's it for the Destiny board aspect. So let's get into the preventing your opponent from winning aspect. This is for you to win. Now let's show off what we do to stall a little bit. So we're going to be playing an Upstart Goblin to just kind of draw, 1 Day of Peace to help us draw into the cards that help us prevent our opponent from attacking us, and this also can stall us a turn from them dealing us any damage and stuff like that. We play 3 copies of Cards of Demise, because Cards of Demise really helps in this deck, because it can let you draw into cards that you need, for instance, it lets you draw into Wabaku and your Drowning Mirror Forces and your Jar of Avarice to kind of help you shuffle the cards that you need back into the deck. The key thing is, though, is if you draw into those cards, this deck is kind of a set 5 pass kind of deck that your opponent doesn't really know what you're playing until you activate. Like, they don't even really know what you're playing when you activate the Dark Sanctuary. And this is totally an ode to Bakura. Then we play 3 copies of Pot of Duality to kind of search out our Destiny board. We want to draw into Destiny board, or not Destiny board. We want to draw into Destiny board and Dark Sanctuary as quickly as possible. But I don't play Terraforming because you don't need it. Because this draws into it so fast that you just don't need it. Then I play 3 copies of Magical Mallet for the last 3 spells. This helps you, like, if you draw off Cards of Demise into a Destiny board piece, you can put it back into the deck. So you can draw it out with Destiny board itself. Like if you draw into a Spirit Message, you can put it back and you don't have to discard it, which is really nice. But that's it for the spells. Let's get into the traps. The traps is the big part of this deck. You're going to play a lot of traps. And this deck is so thankful that Harpy's Feather Duster and Heavy Storm is not, at 3. Now the Hey Trunade, this deck does not like Hey Trunade. But not a lot of people are playing Hey Trunade. So this deck is kind of one of those troll decks. So for the traps, we're playing 3 copies of Drowning Mirror Force. Because your opponent can attack you directly, you just spin them all back to the deck with this. All the attack position monsters. So it can set your opponent back quite a lot. And this card actually totally affects Link monsters because they're in attack position. Then to protect our Spirit Messages, we're going to play 3 copies of Dark Bribe. I don't care if my opponent draws a card really, but I really want to keep my I want to keep my Dark Sanctuary on board and stuff like that. And usually, mathematically, when you think about it, the average player only plays 2 spell or trap destructions, or 3 logically, on average, unless their deck specifically has a monster or a specific spell or something like that stops something like that. Now, they can Solemn Strike the Spirit Messages, but that doesn't normally happen. And what happens that I notice is I get Twin Twistered, but I have this to prevent Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclones, MSTs, stuff like that from my opponent hitting my Destiny board or Dark Sanctuary. That's the main focus of Dark Bribe. I cannot emphasize how important Dark Bribe is in this deck. You want to have a Dark Bribe always set. You always want one set to protect you. So that's why we play all those draw cards to get it. Then, to shuffle the cards that are necessary back into our deck, we play Jar of Avarice. Or if we don't have a Magical Mallet, we can shuffle back the Spirit Message very quickly to get it into our deck to be able to activate it during our opponent's end phase. So, Jar of Avarice, in my opinion, is very important in this deck. Very, very important. Then for the final 3 traps, we play Waboku to prevent our opponent from attacking us and dealing us any damage. I take no damage the turn I activate this, so that's why I play 3 Waboku. So that's it for the traps. Let's get into the spells. The 2 Jar of Avarice is very important too, though, because it can shuffle your draw cards back in your deck and shuffle your Destiny board, your Spirit Message, Dark Sanctuaries, the monsters you discard off of Card of Demise, and then you get to draw a card on top of it. So then we play 3 Card D. I don't normal summon in this deck, so it was one of those, why not? Set 5, pass, normal summon Card D, and then get what I need, pass. So I play 3 of it. I play 3 Swift Iron Scarecrow because I can discard it if I don't Card of Demise. I can do this. And then for the final card that I play is Speedroid Manko. Speedroid Manko is really good in the deck because if your opponent attacks you, you can special summon it from your hand and then switch all attack position monsters your opponent controls to defense. So we're playing the 3 copies of Drowning, the 3 Wabokus, and then 3 of these. So we're playing 12 ways to stop our opponent from attacking us. All those draw cards, like, this deck is super, super fun. Like, super fun to play. I cannot emphasize how much fun this is because, like I said before, and I won't emphasize this before I end the video, is you can actually just win off of the Dark Sanctuary itself. Like, this card can win you the entire game just by your opponent attacking you and you doing coin tosses. It's unlikely, but you can win. And it's really fun. But anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoy putting this together. I probably won't update this very much because it's one of those decks that once you build it, this is kind of the build you stick with unless a new draw card comes out. The only thing that I've thought about putting in this deck is maybe Into the Void. Like, I thought about that would be pretty cool, but other than that, that's it. And we're at the final bit of the video. So I will see you guys in the next video. This is DarkArmedDuelist, signing out. See you later, guys.